Hello, this is Andy Davis with the Clatsop County Democrats, and I am here with Erika Marshall-Hamer, who is running for the Sunset Empire Parks and Recreation District Board. That is Director Position 4. Is that correct, Erika?
Yes, that's correct.
And I just want to thank you for joining us today to let us talk to you about your candidacy.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the invite, and I really appreciate the time.
Sure. So we have just a series of pretty basic questions about you and your candidacy, and we'll start with just asking, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what kind of experiences and expertise you're bringing to the table for the board?
Yeah, sure. So I think maybe from like more of a personal standpoint, I grew up in Clatsop County. I grew up in Seaside, so being a part of Sunset Empire Parks and Rec has always been a part of my life. I grew up in the pool there, learned how to swim there. My mom was actually the gymnastics coach with some of their programs. Even, they were even running some of their programs out of Broadway Middle School at that time in the 80s. So I think, their programs and them kind of being at the center for like recreation, as a kid was really, really important to me. And later I actually coached their Smart Start sports for 3 to 5 year olds. So I did that about 5 years ago. I was doing that when my kids were younger, and my kids also went through their preschool system. So I think on a personal level, the Parks and Rec, Seaside Empire is just, Sunset Empire is just really close to my heart. And then more like just kind of professionally, I have been involved in sports my whole life. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school and played basketball in college. And just, I grew up with coaches. My parents were teachers and coaches in this community for over 30 years, Ginny and Wally Hamer. So, I think just programs, that Sunset Empire can offer, I think that, just the rec kind of sports programs are really important in my life and important in our family's life. So I just really wanted to get involved and really make a positive, kind of difference for our community in that area. And then I think one of the main things that I, have brought to the governance side of the board is being an HR director for a global company. So right now I'm the global HR director for Mercy Corps, which is a large international NGO. And we are a humanitarian organization, and we alleviate poverty, suffering, oppression in 40 plus countries around the world. So I think on a kind of that professional level, I bring, that kind of governance around HR, employment law. So I think just being an advisor to Skylar, our current executive director at SEPRD, I think that's been really important for them, just having somebody that they can bounce things off and talk to about different kind of personnel issues. So that's been the reason, that I wanted to get involved, and, just the kind of some of the passions I have within the community.
Sure. So you may have answered the first half of this question in large part anyway, but so the second question is, why are you running for the position? And maybe I'd ask you to emphasize the second part of it, which is what kind of things do you want to accomplish on the board?
Yeah. So, I think one thing that I really learned, especially from my parents who have volunteered, countless hours in this community for 45, 50 years. I think what I learned from them is just really having like a bold vision and really doing whatever we can to make positive change. And so I feel like, that's part of why I wanted to get involved, because, I've been around other communities in Oregon through sports, especially with my kids recently. And, just different recreation activities. And I feel like Seaside we're behind the curve right now when it comes to what we're offering our community. And so I think what we need, are people who do have a bold vision and who want to, just to kind of get up to speed with the rest of, some of the communities around Oregon, and not just in Oregon, just when you think of around the country or globally, I feel like Seaside, there's areas for improvement, and I just hope that I can be a positive kind of influence in that. And I think in the past, it's has been a little bit unstable in terms of the board of directors. So what I'm hoping is just to create more stability for the staff to actually do their job. The board isn't there to micromanage the staff or to do the work even, right? That's why we have staff who are paid and who are working for SEPRD. So, I mean, the board is there to create governance and to be an advisor. So, and then for our community, I just think our youth and all of our, different populations, seniors or, vulnerable groups, there needs to be more opportunities in this community for them. And I really think that SCPRD can be that kind of central hub, right at the heart of Broadway, where, things could, it could be an amazing kind of facility and little area right there on the corner if we kind of do continue to have that bold vision and stay positive, work together and collaborate. And I think, as many people know, we were able to purchase the old Broadway Middle School, which we did so without asking the taxpayers for more money, So basically we were able to lease that through a loan, which doesn't increase our taxpayer dollars, which is, you hear rhetoric that it has or that it will, but that is not the case. And I think we've been given a really great opportunity to do something more for our community. So.
Okay, thank you. So the next question I've got is in the past term, I'll say term.
Yeah.
What do you think the board could have done better, and what might you change, either looking back or going forward?
So I just joined really technically in September of 2020. So I've been with the board just a really short period. And in that short period, we've had to move quickly on some pretty major decisions. And I think that within that time frame that we were given, I think that we did a really good job with what we had, and what we were given. So, I think in the past, I do have to say I've been pretty surprised at, or I was, kind of watching from the outside some of the negativity that some of the previous boards have had. And then also just some of the negativity that I've seen continue since I've joined the board, not within the core group we have. So right now we have Catherine Parker, Sue Coddington, Mike Hinton, Celeste Bodner, and myself, Erika Marshall-Hamer. And I think that core group right now has created so much stability for SEPRD and the staff. We have a great working relationship. We have great positivity. And like I said, we all have a very kind of bold vision for the community and for what SEPRD can do for the community. And I think that's new for for what that they've experienced in the past. And like I said, I was pretty surprised at some of the kind of negativity or misinformation that has been going on. But also I understand within our country right now that, our country is divided in a lot of ways, and collaboration and unity and positivity are not at the forefront. And so I'm just really hoping that that can kind of overcome through this, election period, and that we can continue kind of this path we're on, because I think it could be a really, really positive. So I think the only other thing I would add is that in the past, I also feel that the board has operated in a little bit too much of a micromanagement way. I've worked with lots of boards in my life just by being in the NGO sector. And, a board is really there for governance and for like that advisory kind of entity. It is not there to micromanage staff and to kind of come in and with their own agenda to, you know, that falls outside of the mission. You know, SEPRD has a mission, which is really to create opportunities for play, recreation, exercises, well-being, you know, so for our youth, you know, programs for our youth. And I think we really have to be careful as a community in terms of mission creep. So sticking to what that mission is and finding people who want to, you know, continue that in a positive light. So I would say that, you know, my hope after this election is that that board can continue to stay in more of that governance realm and less of the micromanager kind of realm. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then lastly, is there anything that we've sort of missed that you want to bring up as far as your candidacy or as far as the board before we sign off here?
I think I just want to continue to highlight like the positive working relationship and the positive things that the current board is doing. And all of us are running for re-election right now. Mm-hmm. And I really think that we have the opportunity to continue, you know, some positive, like I said, it's a positive, bold vision for Seaside that does not create a burden on our taxpayer, you know, on the taxpayer. So I really hope that, you know, people listening or watching can, you know, get behind the group that's running, who's currently, you know, the board of directors. And you know, I think this board of directors is really open to community feedback. Right now, we're organizing community leadership meetings as we start the strategic planning process for the former Broadway Middle School and how we're going to use that. And I think we're extremely committed to feedback. We're extremely committed to the community's engagement. And I just hope that people will continue in this way and we can continue to have positivity and collaboration as a group here in Seaside and Clatsop County.
Great. Well, Erika, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here to inform the voters about who you are and what you're about as a candidate. And also thank you for being willing to do this community service. Putting forth that effort and time is so important for our communities, and we very much appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Andy. I really appreciate the invite.
Sure. We wish you the best of luck in the election, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.